Hey guys, I'm Craig, and today for the Surfboard Guide, we're going to check out the Dark Twinn by Aipa Surfboards. So the Dark Twinn I've been riding is a stock 510, and it's 510 by 20 by 2 3/4, and it's 33.13 litres. So you may be familiar with the Dark Twinn. It isn't new, it's been out a while. Noel Salas on Surf and Show did a really cool review on it. I think there's a few other things online. It's been out for like 18, 24 months. We recently put our Urban Surf clip where we took out a whole bunch of boards, check out EPS and PU, and this is one of the EPS boards, even though it has EPS and PU, which we'll talk more about later. But I'll put a link to that above so you can learn a little bit more about what we did with that. But this is the extended full review, so we can talk a little bit more about the Dark Twinn. Looking over the Dark Twinn, I think if you look at like the front 2/3, it looks like a performance shortboard. So I believe it comes from a model called, or it's derived from a model called the Dark Horse. I'm not familiar with too many Aipa boards, so Dark Horse I believe is a shortboard. And then the Dark Twinn is kind of the twin fin-ish version of it. So, you know, performance kind of front end, performance shortboard front end. And then the back, you've got this kind of wing bump that comes into a thumbtail. So thumbtail, not a common term that I kind of use, but kind of sits in between, I believe, a round and a square. So it's a nice little tight, sort of rounded square, pretty small. And then this wing is really good because it comes in, it's quite aggressive and very Aipa-esque, but allows you to hold this width through to this kind of last point. So, you know, some extra float and width and drive, and then it comes in this really nice, tight little tail, which is really, really easy to surf. Flipping over, pretty simple in the bottom, single in the front, double through the back. It's just gonna flow water through. Really nice, really easy to surf, and works well with the rocker. The rocker on the Dark Twinn is something that I was super interested in. Picking it up, I didn't realize how much rocker the board had, but then when getting it kind of, you know, into the water and under the arm, the rocker is pretty consistent through the board. So most boards will have rocker, flat point, tail rocker, but I feel like there's a constant rocker throughout the board. At no point is it super like aggressive. I guess it's the continuation of it, which makes a considerable amount of rocker through the board. I'm sure there's some flat points in it, but I'm not getting any rulers out or going too technical on the whole thing. But it feels really good when you want to, you know, obviously turning is going to be really easy. It's going to be super maneuverable. But for someone like myself that's always ridden kind of lower volumes and always done a lot of the work for the board and like boards that surf, the Dark Twinn felt absolutely epic. So I thought that was really cool. I think one of the only other boards I've had that have a consistent rocker through the board is probably the Channel Islands Proton, which most people will be familiar with as a performance model from Dane Reynolds many, many moons ago. And what's also kind of interesting, 2 3/4, the board is quite thick, but the rail drops away into like a mid kind of low. It kind of drops away quite like a bit towards the edge, kind of like a mid-ish kind of low rail. Nice bite, but all that volume is through the center. So at 2 3/4, it sounds overly thick, but it isn't, because it drops away to a nice rail that just turns through the water and is super easy to surf. Another interesting thing about the Aipa Dark Twinn that we've got, it is in Surftech's dual core technology. So I don't want to go into the technicalities too much because I'm always worried I'm going to muff it up. But through the center of the board, inside this black line that you'll see on both sides, this is an EPS core. So EPS foams through the center. And then on the other side of this black line, which I believe is a carbon layout but upright, I could be wrong, is PU. They say the PU in the rail gives extra drive through turns, and also it talks about swing weight for airs. So drive through turns I'm signing up for. Swing weight through airs, I think those days are behind me. But yeah, it felt really good. This is the second dual core board I've had. We did a review on the Vulcan Pantera, like one of our first reviews on the Surfboard Guide, and that was dual core. Both have felt epic. I would like to check out more boards in Surftech's dual core technology, but there aren't too many boards out there with it. But really liked it. Really good combination of liveliness you get from EPS, and then that solidity you get from PU. So, you know, thumbs up on the dual core technology. The other thing is in the layout on the deck on the EPS is a carbon in the top deck and carbon through the bottom. So I've had the Dark Twinn for quite a while now. I was able to surf it quite a bit before we took it down to Urban Surf. So I've surfed in a variety of conditions in the ocean where salt water and waves break, not a pool, from probably like kind of 2 foot through to 6 foot or so. In the stuff around 2 foot, I felt that with the rocker, it wasn't something I was going to lean towards. I really needed waves to be, if they were fatter and fuller, they needed to kind of be in the 3 to 4 foot range. So chest, head high to overhead. But if they had a bit of push, they were cupped, it was kind of sucky, just kind of waist high plus. The rocker really wanted waves with a bit more size, bit more push, bit more face, and then the thing absolutely lit up. Yes, you could surf it in some smaller, weaker conditions, but when I felt the Dark Twinn really lit up was when you weren't having to do a lot of work for the board. The wave was pushing you, you were able to move fast, and you could really get on that rocker and really surf it to a higher level. At Urban Surf, we surfed it in the advanced settings and I believe advanced turns. So they're the larger wave setting and it also includes the barrel. So with the Dark Twinn, we found ourselves it was able to turn really well in the pocket. I thought the rocker, you might kind of fight the rocker. Sometimes with, wave pool generated waves, they have a little bit less push than the ocean. And if you go too far out on the face, you can kind of lose your speed and you find yourself trying to make it up. But the Dark Twinn kind of worked everywhere. I thought the rocker might be a bit of a battle, but sat really well when you wanted to turn in the steeper sections in the pocket, and also could go out to the shoulder. It kind of held its speed through those turns, through those flatter sections, which really surprised me. I thought the rocker would want to be in the pocket the whole time and wouldn't want to go out in that flat spot, but seemed to hold its pace really well, which I think the rocker and the concave is just done so well. Like Duke Aipa is an amazing shaper, knows what he's doing, and he's really done it well in the Dark Twinn. So I think I could have even brought it down into the intermediate setting at Urban Surf, which I quite like. Wave height's a little bit smaller and a little bit flatter, but waves are really predictable and you can do quite a few turns. And I think the Aipa Twinn would have worked, the Dark Twinn by Aipa would have worked really well in the intermediate session. So if you're doing turns, pushing turns, you're in the barrel at Urban Surf or any wave pool, the Dark Twinn would be absolutely epic. In fins in the Dark Twins, we had FCS, which was awesome. When we surfed in the pool, we used the Power Twinn by FCS. But when I had it in the ocean, I actually rode the MRs. For some reason, I went to the Power Twins. I'm not sure why, but they felt really good. They're a little bit larger and I think a little bit stiffer than the MRs. But unfortunately, we had a bit of a fin accident in the pool. Some guy didn't want to get out of the way when I was taking off and I had to bail and ended up against the wall. I'll put a little clip in. You can see that was heaps of fun. Thanks guy that got in the way. But anyway, smoked my fins, but didn't do any damage to the board, which was really cool. But yeah, the Power Twinn felt really good. Board feels really good as a twin plus stabilizer. When I had it in the ocean, I surfed it without the stabilizer. I did not enjoy it. I felt like it became very skatey and everything I liked about the board, like the rocker, and how it surfed as a performance board. And I surfed it in waves that were a bit bigger with some push. I felt like it lost it. I felt like I was doing lots of work to get speed, to make sections. I did not like it without the stabilizer. If you have experience with the Dark Twinn that is different to that, please comment below. I'd love to hear other people's experiences. Like I said, board's been around a while. I even know some people that have it that like it. I'd love to hear what other people think about fins and what they've ridden. Like I said, I rode the MRs as well. And funnily enough, when I first got it with the performance outline, had one surf, took the MRs out, came in and I put the AM thrusters in, the large AM thrusters, and they actually felt really good. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of a performance outline, pretty performance rocker, shortboard outline, pretty performance kind of shortboard rocker. The AM thrusters felt really, really good as well, but kind of felt like it was weird riding a board called the Dark Twinn. I think it's pretty apparent in the name what the board is, and then riding a thruster setup. But if you don't have twin fins and you have thruster sets you like, they go pretty well as well, so I wouldn't hesitate putting something different in the board if you want to check that out. Hey, overall, the Dark Twinn's been epic. Like I said, surfed in the ocean, went really well. Kind of like waves are a bit bigger and better, but when I took it to Urban Surf, it went really well. I thought the rocker might be a bit of a battle, but it's just done so well. The rocker through to the concave, how the board flows, how the board surfs, it went really well and I could not fault it. Whether sitting in the pocket, and turning more sharply or going out a little bit wider where you kind of started to lose your speed, the board seemed to flow through it all and it worked really well. I did surf it in the settings where waves are a little bit bigger and a little bit better, or when epic, couldn't really fault it. Who is the Dark Twinn for? It is a pretty performance outline and shape. And I'm going to say it's for more of an intermediate through to an advanced surfer. If you're a performance shortboard diehard that has been hesitating to get on a twin, don't know where you've been, but anyway, this is the twin. It's got all that performance shortboard stuff you're used to, but some of the benefits of a twin with, you know, the freedom of a twin plus stabilizer, this nice pulled in tail, just going to make surfing a little bit more fun, and some of those benefits that you get from a twin fin, but with all the stuff you're used to with your performance shortboards if you're riding, you know, curvy, pointy stuff. But yeah, couldn't fault the Aipa Dark Twin in the ocean or in urban surf. But I know lots of people do have this board. So if you have experience with the board, anything you disagree with or any comments, please comment below. Or also hit us up on Instagram at the Surfboard Guide. We'd love to know about your thoughts about the Dark Twin, because lots of people hit me up about this board, asking questions, telling me stuff. So I'd like to hear from you. But overall, thank you so much to URBNSURF and Surftech, and also Aipa Surf for the opportunity to check this out, and hope you get a chance to check one out too. Thanks so much for watching.